of the Fitchburg City Council. I now call this meeting to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting the audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. I ask that anyone else in the audience who is recording this meeting please identify themselves for the record now by standing and stating their name and city of residence. Seeing none, at this time I ask that all electronic devices be placed into silent mode. Councilor Schultz, would you lead us in the salute to the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilor Schultz?
Here.
Councilor Van Hazinga?
Here.
Councilor Walsh?
Still here.
Thank you. President Sabella?
Here.
Councilor Boschman? Councilor Kuchar?
Here.
Councilor Cragen?
Here.
Councilor Cruz?
Here.
Councilor Di Natale? Councilor Fleming? Councilor Green?
Here.
8 members are present.
Thank you very much. We have no one signed in remotely for public forum. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak, please approach the center podium, identify yourself by name and city of residence, and the agenda item on which you wish to speak, and you will be given 2 minutes.
Hi, good evening. My name is Josiah Richards. I live at 199 Fisher Road. Excuse my voice at the moment. I'm here to speak in support of the agenda item 13525, the petition to suspend the rules to raise an unofficial flag in front of the legislative building here. 5 other Fitchburg residents and I signed a petition to raise a pride flag in honor of the 56th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising on June 28, 1969. More people wanted to sign the petition, but there wasn't enough room on it. The request for a flag raising may have come sooner, but I've learned from other community members that some were too afraid to come forward. Well, I'm a relatively successful white middle-class man. I'm not afraid of some trumped-up homophobia. But what I am afraid of is that members of the community experience disproportionate levels of suicide and suicidal ideation. So, and I know that many people in the room are touched by suicide. I've experienced family and friends who have died, a murder-suicide, and I have a friend whose son committed suicide. Well, while the pride flag is often celebratory, some people have warped its significance to mean something divisive and to malign its meaning. Well, the pride flag is the meaning of hope, survival, and individual liberty. If you approve the pride flag raising in front of this municipal building, it will give residents and residents of the community of Fitchburg show that it's a welcoming place for everyone. If nothing else, for the short while that the flag is being raised, that a closeted LGBTQI plus person may feel a little bit of hope. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
My name is Tessa Poirier. I live at 83 Lawton Ave in Fitchburg. I am also here to support 13525 to raise the pride flag. Fitchburg is my hometown, and I now work with kids in the community. I also have 4 kids of my own that I'm raising here in the city. For these reasons, I'm here to stress the importance of raising the pride flag for our youth. The Trevor Project's 2024 U.S. National Survey asked 18,000 LGBTQ plus youth about their experiences, and I'd like to share a couple highlights from the survey. All this information and more can be found on the Trevor Project website at trevorproject.org. 39% of LGBTQ plus young people seriously considered attempting suicide in the past year, including 46% of transgender and non-binary young people. LGBTQ plus youth of color reported higher rates than white peers. More than 1 in 10 LGBTQ+ young people attempted suicide in the past year. 50% of LGBTQ+ young people who wanted mental health care in the past year were not able to get it. 90% of LGBTQ+ young people said their well-being was negatively impacted due to recent politics. Based on these findings and the experiences I've had supporting young people in the community, I think it is extremely important that we raise the pride flag, but more importantly, in a time when young people would rather be dead than be themselves, my true concern is with the message it would send if their hometown chose not to raise the pride flag. LGBTQ+ support saves lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Hi, I'm Megan Buckley, and I live at 405 Sheldon Road in Fitchburg. I'm a new resident and business owner here. I'm speaking in favor of the request to suspend the rules and raise the pride flag. Just this past winter, my family and I chose Fitchburg as the permanent home for our community farm. Our farm's primary mission is to fight local food insecurity. I believe in this so strongly that I personally pay for it as a direct financial gift to the community without grant or donation support. At the core of this mission is the simple value shared by many faiths and philosophies that our highest calling is to honor and support one another. Loving our neighbor is not a hard concept, but too often political discourse urges us to do the opposite in an effort to sow division among us to our tremendous detriment. At the end of the day, all we have is each other. I was in high school when Massachusetts became the first state to legalize same-sex marriage. I remember my joy and relief at that decision, and I remember just as clearly the loud, hateful voices of some adults who were my neighbors and the parents of my classmates. That same ugliness continues today as anti-trans laws sweep across the country due to damaging and broadly false political rhetoric. We know that this directly leads to stark increases in the suicide rates of queer youth. That's not politics, it's the weaponization of propaganda to pit us against our neighbors. The local history behind us having rules for raising flags in the first place is an unfortunate example of how these issues can be maliciously distorted. The pride flag is a symbol of visibility, hope, and safety for people in our community who have long been marginalized. We're under no obligation to pretend that this is a valid debate about politics or free speech, and I would urge you to avoid any impulse to try to reframe it that way. Thank you, councilors and neighbors.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Come on up.
Jamie D'Arcangelo. I live at 39 Mechanic Street in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. And I just want to speak in support of this flag raising. I think it's important to speak out just to a couple issues came to mind when I was listening to people talk. And I think a lot of people talk about the pride flag being used as a technique for grooming individuals into the LGBTQIA plus community. The truth of the matter is, those of us who live or are part of that community are the people who have been groomed, but not by other people who are gay, but by our families, by the people in our communities. And I know I tried as hard as I could to live up to the expectations of my parents. I tried awful hard to not let them down. But at the same time, when my mother found out that I was gay, at the age of 17 and a half, she kicked me out of the house. I had to leave, you know, and the stuff that happened to me and the way I felt, I was so alone and so desperate. And it was really a dark time for me. And at those times, there weren't so many pride flags up and about. And I think it really helps people that are struggling to see what the truth is and what we stand for, and that we stand for one another. Keep in mind, the pride flag is not exclusionary. It is inclusive. That's why all colors of the rainbow are included in it. So, just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Anyone else?
My name is Lauren Slater, and I live at 405 Sheldon Road. And I'm speaking about the pride flag. What does it mean to not fly a flag It means secrecy and silence. It means you whitewash the people the flag represents. Is Fitchburg a place that represents only the majority of its denizens? Or is this a city that embraces, as our Statue of Liberty says, the tired, the hungry, the homeless, and all the other hundreds of iterations a person can be or become? Why would we not celebrate the diversity in this city of 60,000? And why would we not seek to protect our most cherished and frankly vulnerable? I have heard that the argument goes something like this. If we fly the pride flag, then we must fly all other flags as well. This is preposterous. We are not going to fly a flag that represents the crows living in the city. We are not going to fly a flag that represents people wearing blue blazers. But we are going to fly a flag, every flag that represents our cherished citizens and their particular alliances, as long as those alliances are built on the bricks of love and not hatred or bigotry. The pride flag represents the lives of 10% of our citizens, 10%. We have a duty to recognize and publish their pride. To do otherwise is to take their pride away. Do we want to be a community that trashes pride? Is this who we want to be? The conversation we are having right here is dangerously close to doing that. And what comes to a city that has eradicated pride? Well, the opposite of pride is humiliation, and humiliation comes from the Latin word humus. And humus means to ground down to the ground, which is what we do when we humiliate a population of people, something the United States has gotten very good at lately. We are under obligation to be a true democratic citizen who believe in honoring the righteous and who are not afraid of the flags that demonstrate this particular proclivity. If we fail to fly the pride flag, then we default to its dark opposite, humiliation, which is on par with violence. As I said, humus.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, I have to call you on time.
Okay, that was the last line. To grind down. Humus means to grind down to the ground when we should be about rising up and reaching our highest height as human beings. Thank you. I'm sorry about the time.
Thank you very much. Also, and I promise this has nothing to do with the issue at hand, I do have to ask that the flag in the back be put away only to be consistent, because I have told other groups demonstrating for other causes that they couldn't hold signs and flags in the back. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? All right, we will move into our announcements. The next meeting of the Widowed Helping Widowed Support Group will take place on Thursday, June 26th from 4 until 5:30 p.m. in room 205 at the Fitchburg State University Recreation Center. Kelly Lynn and Bernie Schultz will co-facilitate. The Fitchburg Community Lions Club is collecting eyeglasses to donate to those with low vision. The event will take place Friday, June 20th. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the lobby of the Fitchburg City Hall, right next door. The Ward 3 meeting will not be held this month in observance of Juneteenth, which falls on the third Thursday, which is usually the meeting date. And all are invited to a summer solstice history walk at Laurel Hill Cemetery on Friday, June 20th at 4:30 to 6 p.m. They will visit the graves of Orlando Boss, Congressional Medal of Honor recipient, Eleanor Norcross, artist and founder of the Fitchburg Art Museum, anti-tobacco apostle Reverend George Trask, and others, I presume. And you can RSVP to Friends of Fitchburg Cemeteries at gmail.com. That's one word, and cemeteries is plural. Next, we have the report of the Appointments Committee. Councillor Kuchar. Oh, I'm sorry. Councillor Cragen?
We have DPW Day tomorrow. That must be announced.
Yes, thank you. I don't have that on here, but if you have all the details,
absolutely,
go ahead.
Join us for DPW Day, which was begun in 2009 and with 1 year off during COVID, continues gloriously thanks to Director James Bunnell, our Parks and Recreation Director. Join us at Coolidge Park, 2 o'clock on Wednesday, June 18th. There will be ample parking plus the playground and a ton of trucks. I see our two chiefs. We have fire trucks and police trucks as well. Absolutely, that's great. So there'll be a huge sand pile for kids, all kinds of goodies and goodie bags. The library, the schools will be there. I'll be there with therapy pets, and it is always a really great time. And we have ordered excellent weather, so just putting that out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Report of the Appointments Committee, Councillor Kuchar.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Appointments Committee was heard earlier this evening. There was one new appointment to the Board of Health for a term to expire January 1st, 2027. Jamie D. Arcangelo, RN, and he was unanimously approved. There was a reappointment letter to the Board of Health for a term to expire January 1st, 2028. John Bogdasarian, MD, and he was voted in 2-3 as Councillor Green had to recuse herself.
2-1, Mr. Chair.
Oh, excuse me, 2-1. Sorry.
All right, and Councillor Green, do you need to split this up since you had to recuse?
I will, yeah, and I can step out if you need.
Oh no, well we'll take it separately then, so you can still vote on the first appointment.
Okay.
Unless you have any conflict for that.
I do not.
Okay. Can I have a motion solely on the appointment of Jamie D'Arcangelo?
So moved.
All right, I have a motion and second to approve. If there is no objection, we'll take this by unanimous consent. Seeing none, it is approved. Thank you. And then Councillor Green?
I need to recuse myself from this next appointment.
We'll wait just a moment. All right, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and second. On the motion, did you? Okay. Is there any opposition?
I was going to speak on the motion.
Oh, go right ahead on the motion.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to say a few words on behalf of Dr. John Bogdasarian. He does an extremely difficult job being the chair of the Board of Health, especially during the tumultuous times that we currently live in. And I personally am very grateful to have a steady hand on the tiller and someone who is very responsive to our Board of Health and people who work there. And much as I know that he would love to be here, he is, he has really done a lot of service to the city of Fitchburg. And I'm really happy that he is continuing his appointment. I'm sure that retirement at some point will loom, but as we saw, the average age of a volunteer at the senior center is 78. We are a really strong city when it comes to people wanting to serve. So I wanted to thank you, Dr. John. We'll see you when you're back, to say thank you for continuing. That is all.
Thank you. Do I have any objection to the motion? Seeing none, it is unanimously approved. Report of the Committee on Records. Do I have a Records Committee member who is willing to make a report?
I'll make a report.
Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have reviewed the records, and they appear to be in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve the report of the Committee on Records. If there is no objection, I'll take this by unanimous consent. Seeing none, it is unanimously approved. We have one reappointment letter from Her Honor the Mayor, Mary Delaney as Chief Procurement Officer, term to expire June 30th, 2028. That stands referred to the Appointments Committee. We have the final final audited FY24 financial statements from the City Auditor. With consent of Council, we will waive the reading and place that on file with the Clerk's office. All right. And then we have a special presentation from Jeremy Roach of the Fitchburg Public Schools on the Crocker Elementary solar array. You can come on up.
Thank you very much. I believe you have a copy of the slide deck. This is to add, which was in the original design of the project, for the brand new Crocker Elementary School, which is set to fully open in the fall of the 25-26 school year. So the solar array was built, was designed for the building. It will, if approved by the City Council, which is the appropriate steps as part of this power purchase agreement with Select Energy. The school committee did approve this in a previous meeting in the spring. The current specifics of this particular solar array, which will make the fifth one in our school district, the fifth building that will have a solar array to offset electric consumption. It would be about a 400,000 kilowatt per year output solar array, and that will be great because we will be doing a variable refrigerant flow electrified climate control HVAC system in that new building. So, oh yeah, we can do the slides for sure. I have it on mine for sure, yes. Let me just find it here. Sorry, I didn't notice you there. Okay. Geez, I memorized all that. Now we're just going to go through the... All right.
We are duly impressed.
No. It's actually only a couple of, it's about 5 or 6 slides, so there we go. It's in PDF form, so I'll just scroll through. So the system design, as you can see, the building is actually broken into 2 facilities. It's 116,000 square feet. It's quite a bit bigger than the existing Crocker Elementary School, especially now that the west building has been completely demolished. But it's going to be a 78,000 square foot to 116,000 square foot building. This design is a rooftop array. It will have the ability for quick and easy access for maintenance because there'll be walkways in between the solar panels, similar to what we have currently at, I would say, Rheingold and Memorial. The actual design, if as constructed, it would be the installation could actually take place as soon as August, which would be great. There is a little bit of a lag time in the actual cutover to the Unitil electrical provider, but I think by October it's possible that it could be the cutover could happen, and then the offsets would begin. I think what you see here is, in addition to the fact that it is a power purchase agreement, so Select Energy is the partner. We have them currently as a partner for a number of our solar arrays. They install, they maintain, they monitor for 25 years. The return to the city of Fitchburg is estimated with current rates, so you can see the rate would be 14 cents per kilowatt, which is a savings. The estimated savings overall would be $1.5 million. It ranges from, it increases year to year. It ranges first year about 30 to 35,000 and increases from there. I think, again, we don't know exactly what the output will be. I can tell you that the current very inefficient Crocker Elementary School building is about a 1.4 million kilowatt usage per year. That's really high for a building that size, but again, it's just really antiquated and inefficient at this point. I think we do look forward to, in addition to the savings, now a 5th building that is solar electrified, and though maybe not net zero, certainly producing a significant amount of the electricity output for the facility. facility. This building, too, I will say, is about 1 point away from a Gold's LEED status, which is essentially just the level to which the building is highly efficient and environmentally sound and effectively constructed in that sense. It's silver right now, but we are about a point or two, and the architect is still trying to tweak a few things to get it to that Gold LEED status, which would really be great from just the perspective of efficiencies for the overall facility. So in terms of the process, there's the interconnection and incentives, the power purchase agreement, the lease agreements. Those processes have somewhat taken place already. As noted, the school committee of Fitchburg Public Schools did vote to approve this unanimously. The city council vote, as you can see, is the next step. At that point, then, the agreements can actually kick into effect. We went through this, I think, most recently with Longshow's solar array, maybe a year or two ago. I think I came, and that one is a super efficient building that's actually down to, after 1 year, only 97,000 kilowatts utilized beyond the the solar array, and that was well over 1 million previously. So I think we expect to see something similar, especially where this building was designed. It's super modern and efficient. Again, then it turns into the structural and permitting process. They expect the installation about 2 to 3 weeks. At that point, it then just transitions over to working with Unitil to do the cutover to the electrical supply so that the solar net metering can take place. And that's pretty much it. So glad to take any questions, and certainly appreciate the time. I know you've had some, like the school committee, some long meetings.
Any questions, councilors? Councilor Cruz.
Just one for you, Mr. President, or maybe the gentleman from Ward 3. How does our current moratorium affect this proposal?
It shouldn't affect it at all, because I'm pretty certain our current moratorium applies to large-scale solar ground mounts, not roof-mounted systems.
Yes. Terrific. Thank you.
I would have to double-check to be certain of that, but that was certainly its intent, and if that's not the case, then we need to fix that.
No, I believe it specifically says ground-mounted solar arrays.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect.
I yield the floor. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
Yep.
Oh, Councilor Cragen.
Thank you. So nice to see you here, Mr. Roche. It's been a long time since we've had a presentation about the schools and informing the City Council. Is this going to be our largest solar array?
The largest is actually the canopy at Fitchburg High School that just cut over in May. Actually, that was the most recent one just after Longshow. This would then be the second largest. Yeah, and I say that within maybe 10 to 20,000 kilowatt output. Memorial, Longshow, and this Crocker solar array should be in the annual kilowatt production of like 380 to 420 kilowatt, 100,000, I should say. So 380,000 to 420,000 kilowatts generated by solar per year.
And I'm assuming that the solar panels that we have at the other schools that we've put in over the last decade, those are still going along okay?
Yeah, we have the two, Memorial and Rheingold are the oldest at 2017, I believe. And yeah, they're producing a great degree of electricity for those buildings. They're both in the sort of 90 to 150,000 kilowatts beyond what the solar produces every year, which, to put it into context again, Crocker right now is 1.4 million, and Fitchburg High, before the solar canopies, it'll take a year to really see, is up around 1.8 million. So to have buildings of the sizes that, like, Memorial, 140,000 square feet, to only have, against the Unitil costs, maybe 120 to 130,000 is pretty significant.
Right. And I think the other point I wanted to actually ask is, I know that we did, the Councilors Kuchar and Fleming were very good about moving forward the large-scale solar array, but this is a public solar array, not private. Did we have language in there to specify? Because again, we do not want to, make it difficult for any of our public buildings to take advantage of the most, efficient energy producing technology.
So again, Councillor, the moratorium as it stands only applies to large-scale ground-mounted solar arrays. So all of these that we're talking about, they're all roof-mounted, so they're not included.
Exactly. Thank you. No, I'm really glad to see this. The building needs subcommittee of the school committee is really dear to my heart, and I know it's a late night for you, given how early you guys get to work. But this is really inspiring. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Councillor Van Hassega.
So just real quickly, I assume the new building is being designed to support the weight of the solar system on the roof?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's no issues with the construction or redesign required at all?
No, in fact, I will say in the process of the design and then some redesigns in the electrification of adding the variable refrigerant flow, that did necessitate additional rooftop mounted units, which did require some additional structural steel in the roof, but not related to the solar. And all of that was absolutely considered by both the architect and the construction company at the time that major change took place early in the construction process.
And what is the proposed term of the lease period?
25 years.
25 years. At the end of the 25 years, will the leasing company remove the solar panels and prepare the roof?
Yep. So absolutely. So they own the installation, they own the design, the installation, the maintenance, and then at the end of the term, the maybe continuation of another PPA or the removal of it.
Okay. So you mentioned the maintenance too. So if something goes wrong during the course of the lease period, they will pay to repair it?
100%.
Well, I bet you love that.
Yes, that's a nice feature for sure.
All right, thank you very much.
Anyone else? All right, thank you very much.
Great. I think in terms of the process, I know that to move PPA forward, it does require a city council vote. So whether that happens tonight or another night, if there is a need for additional questions, just reach out to me.
Yeah, I think we will need to have an actual petition put in to vote on, since all we have tonight is the presentation.
Yep.
But yes, we can, speaking for myself at least, we'll move that along when it comes to us.
Yeah, and again, you can reach out to me if you need anything else at any time. I appreciate the opportunity tonight. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With permission of council, I'd like to take a couple items out of order here. First, we have a gentleman from Unitil here on item 11325, public hearing to move a phone pole. He's been here for a while now, and since Unitil's rates are not his fault, I assume, I'd like to
We could blame him.
cut him some slack here. Does anyone object to taking up 11325? All right, thank you. This is Unitil to petition to relocate pole number 14 as painted on the ground for a new driveway. The proposed pole would be 95 feet from Columbus Street and 103 feet from St. Joseph Street, as outlined in the enclosed petition. I now declare the hearing, this is a public hearing, I now declare the hearing open. And you can commence with any remarks you have.
John Kimball representing Unitil. So this is, the pole right now is currently where the driveway is going to go for, I believe it's a 5 or 7 unit condos on Oak Hill. So the pole needs to get moved 14 feet just to be able to accommodate for the driveway.
Questions, comments from councilors? All right, is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of the petition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the petition? If all have been heard, I declare the hearing closed. The matter is before the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve the petition. If there is no objection, I'll take this by unanimous consent. Seeing none, it is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You as well. Next, since we have a number of people here on 13525, the flag petition, and I'm sure they also would like to be able to go home, with consent of council, I'd like to take that out of order as well. Any objections? All right, we have a request for suspension of the rules on petition 135-25, Josiah Richards and others to request the raising of the LGBTQI plus progressive pride flag in front of the legislative building from June 23rd through June 30th.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and second for suspension. Any objection? Seeing none, the matter is before the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second. I'd just like to speak briefly to this. Normally, I would just vote in favor and not say anything, but the remark was made, and I think it's very true, that the meaning of this flag and the general concept of pride has become very distorted in public discourse lately. So I want to just say, long time back, 20 years or so ago, when I was a much younger man, I was very much one of those less reflective kind of conservatives who used to say things like, well, why don't we have a straight pride month? Why do we have black pride but not white pride, and so forth? I never meant anything negative by it, but I just didn't get it. And some friends of mine, some very patient friends of mine, took the time to clarify things for me, to clarify that what we mean in those contexts, whether it's LGBTQ pride, whether it's black pride, those sorts of things, it's not about pride in the sense of being full of oneself, in the sense of feeling better than anyone else. It's pride in the sense of refusal to feel shame. And that, I think, is something we should all thoroughly support. We can all have our own opinions on what the ideal way to live someone's life is, but no one in this city should be made to feel shame for who they are. And so I could go on for a bit, as everyone here probably knows, but I'm going to just leave it at that and just say, I hope that anyone who is still thinking of this the way that I used to will have a very patient friend or two to explain this to them, because it's one thing to say, yeah, I'm not LGBTQ, I'm not black, I'm a white, straight Christian guy, and I have as much right to be proud of myself as anyone else. The difference is no one is telling me I can't be. So that's what we need to stand up for. And with that, I have Councilor Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I appreciate you telling that story and your change of heart. I think that's really important for people to hear. I'll be very brief. At the time right now, I think LGBTQ plus rights and dignity, they're under renewed attack in this country. It's more important. It's as important, maybe as it's been in a number of years to stand with our brothers and sisters in non-binary in the LGBTQ plus community, and make it clear as a community that they're seen, that you're valued, that you're heard, and that you belong. And we have an opportunity to do that here tonight. And I'm incredibly proud to stand with you and make that vote and make sure that you're seen, you're valued, you're heard, and you're respected and appreciated. So thank you for coming tonight. I yield the floor. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to state my first job after I graduated from law school, was as a deputy district attorney in Laramie, Wyoming. And I actually practiced in the office who prosecuted the murderers of Matthew Shepard. It was right after I left, so I wasn't there to see that, but it really hit home because everywhere, when they talked about it, I knew exactly where they meant, where he was when he was killed. As a proud aunt of a gay nephew and a bisexual nephew, I think that we should raise this flag because it's a celebration of people who have never been celebrated before. Thank you.
Councillor Cragen.
Thank you so much. I was so glad when Josiah brought this forward and got the signatures on the petitions because I hope next year to be, one of the people that brings this forward as well. The feeling of inclusion and belonging that so many people I know in Fitchburg, really the vast majority, the gigantic numbers of people I know in Fitchburg, the willingness to be part of a community really goes back decades. We are an extraordinary place. We have all kinds of interesting history as regards people of color and women having professional positions within the city. And so the dynamism of our LGBTQ, family, friends, neighbors must be acknowledged and, must be saluted. And I really look forward to seeing the flag on, I believe we're looking at June 23rd. And I'm, again, very appreciative. Thank you, Josiah, for stepping up. And thank you for what you said. I thought it was really eloquent, and you are speaking for many, many people.
Councillor Van Hazinga.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think as a city, it's very important we stand up in support of the vulnerable members of our society, and that includes this segment of the community. And, repeat the letters, but I always mess them up every time, and I apologize for that. But it's important that we let everybody in the city know that they are accepted, they are valued for who they are, not who some people feel they're supposed to be. And everybody should be free to express themselves and be a great member of this city. So I support this fully.
Anyone else?
Mr. President, I'd like to request a roll call vote. Thank you, sir.
All right. Do I have a motion?
We have one on the table.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yes, we had a motion already.
Yeah.
All right. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councillor Schultz.
Yes.
Councillor Van Hazinga.
Yes.
Councillor Walsh.
Yes.
President Zarella.
Yes.
Councillor Kuchar.
Yes.
Councillor Cragen.
Yes.
Councillor Cruz.
Yes.
And Councillor Green.
Yes.
That passes unanimously by 8 members.
Thank you very much. And thank you, everyone, for coming and sticking with us. Next, returning to our regular schedule, we have the report of the Council as a Whole Committee.
Motion to approve. Second.
Yeah, with consent of Council, I won't read off all the items that the committee discussed since we were all just here.
Thank you.
So I heard a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
And I have a second to accept and act upon the report of the Council as a Whole Committee. Do I have any objection to taking up the report? All right, that passes unanimously. Report of the Finance Committee, Councilor Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met on the 11th. We took up 2 agenda items. 115-25, order the City of Fitchburg hereby transfer the sum of $30,000 from Fire Personal Services EMD stipend to the following fire building maintenance accounts. Electricity $5,000, heating fuel $5,000, and household repair $20,000. At Chief Suarez's request, we amended that petition to be $30,000. The entire transfer to be all towards electricity, and it was approved unanimously as amended. The second order was 116-25, order that there be and hereby is appropriated the sum of $120,823.10 from reserve for appropriation PEG access expenses to reserve for appropriation PEG access cable franchise fee for the purpose of remitting to FATV for the first quarter 2025 franchise fee. This is quite simply the money that we get from Verizon to support FATV, and it was unanimously approved.
Motion to accept.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any objections? Seeing none, it is unanimously approved. Report of Public Safety Committee. Councilor Green.
Yes, hi there. We met this evening and took up the following petition, 060, Councilor Ploshman, to remove parking meter bags on Grove Street. Cars are utilizing parking spots for the entire day. After discussion, we've decided that we need to hold that petition. Discussion from Councilor Schultz and Walsh on when the bags were placed. We heard that the meters are working and in order, but in order to properly do as the petition is stating, it requires an ordinance change to allow parking from Main to Elm. So we decided to hold that until we can make that ordinance change to make that happen. The second petition, 06725, residents of Park Street, to petition concerns that Midnight Auto Repair Shop is taking over Park Street, leaving the residents with no parking. After much debate, we decided to amend that petition to read residents of Park Street to create a residential permit parking only with input from the police department and DPW on how to allow that to happen. 09525, City Councilor Bernie Schultz, in conjunction with Fire Chief Suarez and Director of Public Health Steve Curry, to address the safety issue at 240 Water Street. That's the former St. Bernard's Church. And with the discussion on that, it's been noted that there is a real fire danger and a collapse hazard. There is an ongoing homeless issue, and was brought forward that Director Steve Curry has a letter in to the owner. They have until June 27th to respond about the condition and what they're going to do with the building. There were some suggestions brought up from those departments. So at this point, we want to send the petition on to the health department and the building department, where they're the ones that have the governance and the oversee to get it taken care of.
With feedback from the fire department.
Yes.
Thank you. With feedback from police, DPW, and fire.
On that last item, I'd just like to remark that I would also strongly encourage that we send the owner of the property a very strong letter from the legal department outlining the type of liability that they face if they don't do anything to address this potential collapse and the frequent intrusions, because getting voluntary compliance from them is certainly preferable to shelling out money through the city. And frankly, if I were a responsible property holding company, I would not want to take the risks of becoming liable for anything up to and including wrongful death suits if something does happen on the property. So I would I'm not going to recommend that we amend the petition or anything, but I would just like to mention, while we've got the mayor here, that it might be nice to have a strong letter sent by our legal department regarding this property to the property owners and managers. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the report of the Public Safety Committee. If there is no objection, it is unanimously approved. We have many finance orders. With consent of council, we'll waive the reading on those, and those will stand referred to the Finance Committee. Seeing no objection. Next, we have an ordinance in first reading, 13425. This is the Floodplain Protection Overlay District portion of the zoning ordinance, which we took up in petition form at a previous meeting. I see we have Director Murphy here. Did you have new information that you needed to add, or?
I don't have any new information. I just want to repeat that this has to be approved by July 9th. And so I don't know, this is the first reading. I don't know if we have to do 2 more readings, but
Just
one more reading.
July 1st
Okay.
will be complete.
Okay.
It's one of those weird legal technicalities. We have to do 3 readings, but we can do any 2 of them at once. So we really only do 2 readings.
Okay. Okay. I just know that it impacts people's ability to have flood insurance.
Yes, absolutely. And I think unless there is new opposition to this since last time, I think that I can speak for the council when I say we will get it squared away at our next meeting about a week before your deadline.
Thank you.
Move there be acceptance of it to its first reading.
Second.
I have a motion and second to pass Ordinance 13425 through its first reading. Do I have any objection? Seeing none, it is approved in first reading. And that concludes our business for the evening.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion and second to adjourn. Seeing no objection, we are adjourned.